Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Valpo Football Preview, along with head coach Dave Cicchini. This is Todd Eichow, and we start by taking a look back at what was a great Saturday at Brown Field, a great win, great performance. Both sides of the ball played well, and you beat a pretty good team rather handily. That had to feel good.
Sure. Yeah, it was a great day, great weather, great crowd. Very pleased with our performance. It was a pretty good team, very athletic team, particularly on offense. They ran a triple option that gave us some fits at times, some great speed, and really talented players at the skill positions. But our defense really stepped up, got better and better as the game went on. Our offense came out and probably had its best third quarter that they've had in a long time, and it was nice to get the outcome over with prior to the last play of the game.
It was also really nice. You mentioned the great third quarter. It had been a long time since you had a third quarter like that, came out of the locker room. And after the way the first half ended, there obviously were some questions.
Sure.
Things did not go well at the end of the first half. And you guys came out in the third quarter, and something that we've been waiting for a long time, you guys took it to them.
Yeah, we felt like it was a real wasted opportunity, up 21-3 with just about 4 minutes to go in the half. Where we could take the ball down the field and go in up 28-3 and have ourselves on the verge of a blowout. But that's not what happened. We had the freshman mistake at quarterback, and their defense stepped up and forced a bad punt by Alex Ng, one of the few bad punts he's had all season, and they turned it into 14 quick points at the end of the half. And in the grand scheme of things, that was a good thing because it put us going into halftime realizing that we were still in the battle, and I think our football team needed this. They needed to come out in that second half and take control of a ball game in all three phases. And physically, what's happened to us the first 2 weeks, we got worn down in the second half. We were able to do that to Trinity International.
In hindsight, you look back to week one when you played Jimmy Seawall the entire second half, talked afterwards, you said, hey, at some time this year he's going to have to play.
Right.
And therefore, we need to get him snaps in this game. You weren't going to beat Illinois State in that second half.
Sure.
So that was the ideal opportunity. Put him in the fire, see what he could do. And in some ways, that had to pay off in the next couple weeks because he played basically the whole game against a good team at Sacred Heart. And then really, this past Saturday, that was one of the better overall football games I've seen from a Valpo quarterback, I think, in the last decade.
Yeah, he stepped up. There's no question. He answered the bell, and again, still had a couple of those nervous freshman-type moments, which should be expected, but on the whole, played an incredible football game, and you're exactly right. We take that approach to the first couple of games of the season in terms of making sure that we get multiple guys, not just at the quarterback position, but at a lot of the separate positions on offense and defense, for exactly this. We know it's a long season, and we want guys to be prepared, and that's why we do it. And Jimmy's a great example of somebody who was a little bit more ready to play because of those reps he took in Illinois State, and was able to have the type of game that he did because of it.
And I think it helped to have Frank Katrine back. And now you look at the numbers across the board. Gene Rene you can see he's really blossoming. He's going to be an outstanding football player. He's getting there right now. We know Frank is so dangerous in the passing game, and you've got other guys who are helping as well. Obviously, your tight end Mason Sutter had a great game too. So there's more weapons this year to throw to, I think, than you had last year.
Yeah, without question. And while most of these guys were a part of the program a year ago, they were younger, and they just weren't quite ready yet, whether physically they weren't as strong or as fast as they needed to be, or just mentally they didn't have the confidence in knowing the multiple schemes that we run. And we're starting to see guys blossom because they are in their comfort zone. They are physically better. They do have a better idea of what's going on. Mason Sutter is a great example of someone who played a lot of football last year and showed flashes of being a really good football player, and showed a lot of flashes that reminded us that he was still just a young freshman, and he's really stepping in, and he had 5 big catches. But the other standout for me is you got to go back to Jared Morgan, a guy who we knew needed to be one of our marquee players, and had gone through really the first 2 games without in many highlight type moments, which he's capable of giving us, and he was really one of the impetus behind us in that third quarter, being able, with the big run, 52-yard touchdown run, I think a 39-yard catch, and then a 20-yard touchdown reception. He really came through when we needed him and helped us, and we're going to need him to continue to do that.
This is kind of what we touched on at the beginning of the year, is there's more offensive weapons there, and now at least we got an opportunity to see them this past week. And now as you look ahead, boy, the schedule, and I'm not going to say too favorable, but at least you go into conference play, and you've got a few home games coming up. You've got games against teams that don't figure to finish in the top 2 or 3 in the league. Davidson is a program that clearly is better. They've gotten 2 wins so far this year. They come off a game, they beat a Division II school, scholarship Division II school. They're up 38-0 at halftime. So obviously they are a significantly better program. What can you tell us about that?
I mean, I like to point out that that is a program that is just kind of 1 year ahead of us in the rebuilding process. So you're seeing a lot of great defensive play. They've stepped up in their last 2 wins, and their defense has been incredible in just the way they play. They know their scheme. They're confident in it. They may not have the biggest or the fastest or the quickest athletes that are out there, but they hit hard. They know what they're doing. They're playing fast. They're getting a lot of turnovers, and this is a much improved defense from a year ago. On the offensive side of the ball, they lost a great wide receiver, one of the best receivers in the league. They made a coaching change. They've got a new coordinator in there, and they're really starting to, I think, get comfortable with their offensive scheme. So without question, this is a much more veteran Davidson team than what we've played in the last 2 years. It's without question the best and most talented team that we will have seen.
They've gotten good play from a freshman quarterback as well,
Yep.
which kind of brings us to the final point about the game is you've got a freshman quarterback who player of the week in the league, 5 touchdowns. You've got a quarterback in Ryan Clark who could come back. Where do things stand right now? It's early in the week,
sure,
but where do things stand
and that's
right now?
It's just too early to tell right now. Again, Ryan's still coming back off of that concussion. It's not like a sprained ankle where someone can say, yeah, it's feeling better every day, and I think maybe in a day I'll be ready, or certainly by Saturday, sure, coach, I'll be ready. Concussions are different. It's just you have to pass the protocol, the tests. Nate Tweet does a great job for us in sports medicine, and when he says he's ready to go, he'll be our quarterback. If that's this Saturday, that's great. He'll be out there. Obviously, Ryan had a huge game against Davidson last year. He threw 5 touchdown passes himself. So I know he's itching to get back, but if he's not able to prepare and be out there for practices and get the reps, it's going to be Jimmy's game. And obviously, he's got a lot of confidence after the type of game he had this past Saturday.
Well, hopefully that momentum will carry over to homecoming on Saturday. Should be a great crowd again. It's supposed to be a nice day. Good luck.
Thanks, Todd.
For head coach Dave Cicchini, this is Todd Eichow. Thanks for joining us this week on Valpo Football Preview.